Hey, this is Ben from PolarStar Airsoft. We're here at IWA 2016 in Nuremberg, Germany with Airsoft DB, doing a quick rundown on the new stuff from PolarStar. Have the original fusion engine. The latest is the F1 system, compatible with offset cylinders. Example of the offset nozzle. It's a rundown of the internals of the system. Essentially, it's similar to the way the jack system works with the radial firing holes. 2 O-rings. When the nozzle gets to a certain point and fires, a small pulse of air is going to end up through there. When it gets further off the stem, a larger pulse. This is what we call two-stage firing. The goal is to have a more gentle firing of the round while it's still in the hop-up and then accelerate it more fully down the barrel. Some other benefits to this are no dead space in the system. It's more efficient now because once air leaves this section, it's only going to here. There's no intermediate passage to fill, so as soon as it's released, it's already doing work to push the nozzle forward. This also acts as our second firing stage. The other neat feature about the F1 is the check valve system or the flow control system inside. On the back of what we call the donut, you'll see 8 holes in a ring. One of those holes is smaller than the rest and outside of it, and it's actually outside of the O-ring in this groove. And this acts as a flow control system depending on the direction of nozzle movement. And the nozzle's moving forward, we don't want it moving forward too fast or it causes some inconsistencies in the hop-up. So we slow it down by basically slowing down the exhaust air. As the nozzle moves forward, it's trying to push the air in front of it out of that cavity and back through these holes. The O-ring collapses down in and blocks off 7 of the 8 holes so that only that small metering hole is allowing flow out of that chamber, slowing the nozzle on the way forward. Once the nozzle gets to that point, like we said before, air direction changes by going through these holes and out the nozzle. The O-ring actually expands out of the groove, allowing all 8 holes to flow. Same thing on the retraction. We don't need to slow it down on the retraction, so when it retracts, it's trying to draw air back into the chamber, pulling the O-ring out again and allowing full flow through there. So it's a little bit more efficient, more consistent, and it's a more gentler feeding and firing mechanism. Other than that, it's similar in function to jack being a blow forward system, cylinder replacement, single solenoid. These are some of the latest switchboards we have and some updates to the old switchboards. These are compatible with both jack and F1. Just like all electronics for jack and F1, they're cross-compatible between the two. Here we have the Aries Amoeba, the version 3, Aries Tavor, the updated version 2 with the new micro switch on the back and some slightly adjusted dimensions for wider compatibility, HK417 by Elite Force. We have a couple more switchboards in development, including the PDRC, a plug board combo for the P90, the Spectre RDP, which is an offset nozzle in a standard version 3, the M14 by G&G, and the Beretta ARX 160 from Elite Force. In addition to the switchboards, we have 2 new FCUs. The Bluetooth FCU has been in development for over a year. We kind of put it on hold while we worked on some other things. What we've done here is change the power, what we call the power section. The voltage regulation for the input of the regulation of the battery power to power the system, and the solenoid control, basically the MOSFETs that turn the solenoid on and off. We've basically reduced the idle current of the system to about 1/300th of what it used to be. So battery life on this system at 28 microamp idle current on a small 250 milliamp hour 7.4 battery, you're looking at several hundred days before it goes dead. In addition to making it smaller, less expensive, more efficient with the battery, we've also added an internal motor control port with plug-and-play harnesses for various box mags. And because it's programmed through the trigger, to make it easier to program, we have an optional speaker module that'll give you programming feedback, including which menu you're in and what the setting is actually set to. The Mini FCU and the Bluetooth FCU are only compatible with single solenoid systems. We've done that because we removed one solenoid wire and replaced it with an extra selector position. This allows us to run 4 selector models like an MP5 with a safe semi 3-round burst and full auto position, or we can reuse that selector position like we have in the past with the GPIO port on the Fusion engine to do last round hold open with mags that have a follower. This is also new from Redline. It's their new SFR regulator. More information would be available from Redline Airsoft, but essentially it's their latest, fastest refresh rate regulator. Works excellent at low pressures, and as far as we're concerned, it's the best one on the market. That's essentially what's new from PolarStar, and expect to see even more in the near future.